What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here. We are back with more Emberfell Whispers from the Stars. Of course, your GM, your DM for the night, Jumbo Thick. We're joined by almost the full cast and crew. Unfortunately, the lovely Tristan Farrell couldn't make it tonight, but hopefully he's with us next week. We'll see. But let's do some brief introductions because we've got a hell of a session ahead of us, I think. It should be interesting. Let's start with the lovely Kayla, playing Velree.
Weird. I play Velree, as you already said. I am a damn pure barbarian, and we're just going to pretend this is Waitley with us right now. Yes, I have magical claws, and and the last time I just got a new feat, Slasher, so that'll be fun to explore.
Get that one.
Yay.
Exactly. And then how about the lovely Dan Decker playing the Moog?
Lovely. So back again, once it's the Incredible Rhyme Animal, the Incredible Dan, Public Enemy #1. It is Moog with a 10-foot reach and a crossbow expert, but more importantly, recently leveled up.
Yes.
And as part of that experience, regained some of his sanity. So, we don't know, man, how much of that touch special little son is still in there. You never know. But we are in Moogville, by any other name, where we're going to hopefully learn some things.
We're going to learn a lot of things, Dan. We're going to do it together. Don't worry.
Who knows?
It's going to be great, guys. It's going to be great. Then how about Jumbo Smooth? Matt playing Rogar.
Hello everyone, I am Jumbo Smooth. I'll be playing Rogar this evening. 7'5", 400-pound Dragonborn from the Frigid Wastes up north. As he leveled up as well last time. He got some cool new abilities, really try that out. So excited to see what Moog's hometown has to offer.
Exactly. As am I. And then last but not least for the night, the lovely Andrea playing Zune.
Hi, I'm playing Zune, the Drow Bard. Loud and abrasive, but let's see. I'm very excited about tonight's session. I'm very stoked about learning about Moog's, his upbringing and everything. So I think this will be a fun session.
Indeed it will. For all of us. So, let's do a brief recap. Last we left off, the crew had found themselves escaping Zinmith, the horrible fishing hamlet town that you guys had ended up at through not just bizarre circumstances, but a few leads. And you ended up confronting the Cult of Dagon, which through a long series of unfortunate events had summoned an aspect of their eldritch deity from the depths of God knows where, and it assaulted your ship as you were fleeing, your stolen ship, as you had rescued the previous captain, though he was somewhat changed and bizarre, as well as saved Nyarla, the albino hobgoblin that has everybody really interested in her birthing facilities, I guess is the best way to put it. But after their rescue, Dagon was not ready to let her go, and you guys were assaulted on the sea on your ship with a series of attacks going off as it spewed forth these mucousy looking like humanoid shapes that had skeletons in them. It was creepy and weird. Zune and Velree pretty much dealt with them by themselves. With Krudak, the second mate from the former elusive Rose, sending some aid. Unfortunately, the clan man did meet his end in the kitchen. Grisly end. As well as pretty much everybody in their sick beds were also massacred, though that happened later. Rogar, Trist, and Moog had an eventful time on the deck of the ship, with Moog being imprinted in the top deck through a massive fist that almost annihilated him, this gargantuan creature. A cannon was shot, and it did insane damage, mostly because Rogar convinced me that I should let the sneak attack go off. And so I was like, sure, why not? We'll do sneak attack on a cannon. And lo and behold, it was way too much damage. Regardless, though, after annihilating that, Triss just kind of, with a flick of his wrist, killed the creature, blew its head off. An elaborate show, dumping its carcass into the Zinmith Harbor as you guys were able to sail away as the unnatural storm that was plaguing you guys slowly abated. You then, with the remaining crew you had, which was not much, you guys were probably limping along, probably a little bit slower than you should have, were able to make it in a roundabout way. You went south around Port Dorona, not wanting to stay to anchor in the city there, mostly because, you might not be well liked there right now, and Marble's not on the best of terms with the dynasty, and needed more of a safer harbor. And what is safer harbor than Brunwood? As you guys skirted around Port Dorona, you went up the Devitonic River into the dynasty itself, a very wide river, good for ship travel. The Dragon's Horde, the ship that you guys are on, though heavily damaged, was able to make the journey easily enough. And with Moog's blessing, the pirate captain would not be hanged outside of the city walls for being a pirate. And you guys were able to set up safe harbor here. As it is in the dynasty, the Clan Broadjaw is not exactly on the most liked list of clans within the dynasty itself, mostly due to the fact that they are primarily bugbears, and they're not exactly looked as highly as the rest, as you guys may have noticed by now. There's a bit of a racial hierarchy within the dynasty. So regardless, though, you guys made port here, and that's kind of where we kind of let off. I did a brief description of the town. I can reiterate that if you guys need it. I've got places, I've got things. Before we get deep into it, let's see here. Did anybody not finish their endeavors that's with us still?
I finished them over text.
Yeah, we finished that over that. It was mostly spellcraft stuff, not super crazy. So I'm good with it. I don't think we did story endeavors for anybody really, though.
I think we just did
I
one
didn't
each.
finish my other.
Yeah.
We only did one endeavor each. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, Zune, what would you like to do for your story endeavor, since you did your other ones already?
You know what I'd like to do for my story.
What are you going to do, Zune?
And I'm not sure if we were saying this would apply to the point endeavor, like the 1-2, or if this would go to story. I don't quite recall. You have your two regular ones, mm-hmm. and then the story one is separate. You can address something you're interested in. You can address your personal quests or whatever you have going on. Anything like that. I would like to write a couple of missives just to try to, get a feel for what's going on back home in Silverdry, but I'm gonna just use my pseudonym sort of name thing, not my actual.
What's your pseudonym? I'm curious, Zune.
Zunalin.
Oh, that's your full pseudonym? Okay. All right. I thought that was the full family name. My bad.
No, that is the pseudonym. So I'm just gonna, friendly bard trying to get a feel for what's going on, thinking about maybe making a stop. What's happening?
With Moog's aid, I will say that you're able to send letters to Silverdry, mostly because he has to kind of show you the right person to give the letter to. There's not like a generic postman, especially in Brunwood. Brunwood's relatively isolated, mostly because it is within the outcroppings of a forest, and it's right on the river. There's no easy way to get to it outside of ship travel. And then it's backed up towards the Shrieking Woods, which is on a horrible plateau of death. But we'll get to that later. But he's able to show you kind of like a merchant trader that moves between not just Brunwood, but he also moves between, hold please while I find it, He moves between. Well, he makes stops at Port Drona, but he's mostly runs out of Rorkham.
Okay. And second endeavor, I am teaching Marble all those things
Of course.
that I promised to teach him.
Go ahead.
When I thought we were gonna die.
Zune. Give me a performance check, Zune. Just get to the. Let's just see it happen.
All right. Do. Oh, that's. Oh shit. 31.
Jesus, 31.
His head explodes. He will never walk again, but he will know all the secrets.
Let's just put it like this. There's an extreme layover. Like the ship is going to have to be heavily repaired. Speaking of which, are you guys going to help pay to repair the ship? Because it is like a significant sum.
I thought letting him have the ship was the payment, but
it needs to be repaired to be set to be like wave ocean worthy.
I technically am paying him.
We
won't get into that.
Well, let's just put it like
him
this.
Skills.
Let's put it like this. Moog would know that the dockmaster, which is his uncle, is going to be charging 6,000 gold pieces to fix this ship because it is heavily damaged. Luckily, you stopped in a place where timber is readily available, and they're able to start making repairs. However, if payment cannot be processed, this will no longer be Marble's ship. This will be a Broadjaw ship when it's done. If it is not paid for in some way. And Marvel.
As long as Marvel knows that he owes us one now.
And no, and I will give you, and that's why I'm throwing it out there for you guys. Do you guys want to try to barter the payment down in any way?
Yes, if we can. I mean, I'm assuming the guy's already cutting us a deal, though. That kind of makes me a little.
He is a little bit, but go on, give me a persuasion check soon.
All right.
It's kind of your thing right now. Let's see how it goes.
Let's hope. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah, 29.
My God. Oh yeah, 29 guys. It's fine. It's fine.
It's free. It's on the house. All right.
It goes from 6,000 to 4,000, and then he goes, "That's cheap as I could go." It's kind of an older gentleman. We'll get into him a little bit here in a little bit, but
I'll bat my lashes and thank him.
3,000 gold pieces. However, you guys want to pay. Do you guys want to pay him in those gold bars that you guys have?
Probably. How much?
3,000.
3,000.
Aren't we exceedingly rich?
You are.
That's like nothing for us, right?
You guys are you guys.
As the kids say, don't we have the drip?
I will say, Moog, you would know this, Moog, that your family is not very well off like they used to be. Your party personally has more gold in their bag than your clan has in its coffers.
Oh God.
Moog keeps it humble.
They're not doing very well, but at the same time, you guys have the amount of money that a noble lord would be walking around with right now.
Rogar,
Call that
3,000
over money.
3,000.
Rogar will give them 2 gold bars.
Okay.
They're worth 1,200 apiece.
Yes, they are. Be another 600.
And then he'll give 600 gold.
All right.
As well.
He sees the gold bars. He's like, oh. He's shocked that you guys he was thinking installments or something, and you just go. It's like, oh.
What's it gonna take to get you into this low mileage, late model beauty? Oh, I see.
Well, there we go. And it is done and paid for. And I'll say, especially with those checks you made, Zune, I will allow this.
You mean those checks she cashed? What?
You're going to get this at any point in the campaign. If you want Marble to aid you, the captain of which he is rebranding the Dragon's Horde. He's rebranding it to the Elusive Rose once again. You have access to his ship. If at any point you need him and his crew or the ship's use, you guys have access to it.
We should have kept naming rights. What's the name of the ship now?
The Elusive Rose.
The elusive rose presented by the crew. Thank
Oh
you
my
very
god.
much.
A little tacked on there and a little bit, a little chiseled into the wood. There you go. Well, wasn't that interesting? How about...
That was awfully magnanimous of us.
Yeah, it was actually. How about Rogar? What would you like to do today?
For my other endeavor,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll try to finish off the dexterity resilient.
Okay. Give me a dexterity check. This is your last one, right?
I've got 2 successes and I have 2 fails.
Okay. Did you fail
3
on the
fails.
Did you fail on the last roll?
The last 2 I failed.
Okay, yeah.
I succeeded on my first one because I rolled a natural 20.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Okay. Well,
so I got 2
the
successes.
DC is a 15.
Okay. Still after my last 2 fails.
It's the last one is always a 15. That's the lowest it can get to.
Okay. Well, you said dexterity.
Just a check.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There we go. Ooh, natural 20.
Natural 20. Rogar. I don't know how you do it, Rogar, but I don't know. Maybe you're doing some jump rope.
Parkour with
you're doing some
Velree,
parkour with Velree. He's doing some parkour, showing you some moves. How do you move so quickly?
So natural.
So natural.
Yeah.
And eventually, with you guys are here about a month. I'd say you probably have use of the broad jaw like drill field, where swinging on trees is a thing.
Yes.
Amongst other stuff. So
see Rogar swinging on a tree.
Yeah, exactly. And you're able to become extremely more dexterous, Rogar. A little more, on your toes. What about your story endeavor, Rogar?
Rogar would like to either at some point during the past month or so, either on the ship ride back or while he was here in the town, he would use his his sending stone.
Oh, yes.
That he has that's connected to Lady Enna.
Lady Enna. The Hound Master. Okay.
The Hound Master.
What were you going to say, Rogar?
He would contact her and he would let her know about Zinmouth.
Okay.
And that there was terrible evils there, and didn't know if it was in her jurisdiction or not, or it was under her purview, but would at least let her know that all sorts of eldritch items and writings and blasphemies were happening there.
She's going to ask you a question in return, Rogar, as you guys are talking about it. Yes, you've come in contact with the Deep Ones, it appears. They haven't surfaced in quite some time. Strange. I'll have to inform the Order. Did you guys take anything?
Rogar is thinking to himself, because Rogar doesn't lie, usually.
It's up to you, Rogar.
But that was before he was intelligent.
That's true.
So, Rogar will say, I have a blade myself. Seems to be made of coral.
Coral. Black?
Is it black? I didn't picture it black.
It's kind of like a blackish purple, kind of purple.
Okay.
Yeah.
He'll describe it that way then.
Yeah. Does it speak to you, Rogar?
No.
No. Okay. Good. Is that it? Is that all that was claimed by your party?
It was all that was claimed by me. do not know the particulars of my party members.
Well, it sounds like, as you may have realized, many dangerous things can be. They can give off the aura of power, but in some cases may be more hazardous to the user, may inflict them with a need to do horrible things. If you see any of your party acting that way, please do inform me.
I unfortunately am accustomed to my party members being possessed or taken by dark things. So I will keep a watch.
Where have you gone now?
Unimportant.
Very well.
I simply wished to contact you to let you know.
Thank you.
Of this town called Zenith.
Yes, we know of
Do
Zenith,
with it.
but continue.
Do with it what you will with that information.
Thank you.
We slew the leaders, I believe, and some giant avatar-like creature. But the entire town was infected or converted to this bizarre faith.
Okay. We'll do what we can.
They seem to have grander plans, is why I reach out to you.
Yes.
It could be a threat to your dynasty.
I will inform the order. And Rogar, just so you know, while we may have land within the dynasty, we do not serve the Shogun. Should you need aid in some way, feel free to ask. And I might be needing of your aid as well soon.
Let me know.
Very well.
For the shaman. And he'll hang up.
For the shaman. All right. Long lives Alcar.
Long lives Alcar.
Rest in peace for Alcar. Wherever you are.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet Prince.
Good night, Sweet Prince. There you go, Rogar. Okay. So we got some stuff happening with Lady Anna. The Cult of Elysia is in play, Rogar. All right. We'll see how this goes. Why don't you give me a deception test, Rogar? Real fast. Just a little deception test.
A deception test?
Just a little one.
All right. 21.
Okay. Rogar, though relatively inexperienced online, you feel confident that you lied your ass off. About you eluded the question entirely. You feel like you're great. There's no way they can track you. There's no way they know what's taken.
Can Rogar make an intelligence check?
To do what?
To determine if he thinks the sending stone is a tracking device as well.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. 15.
You consult Trist on this.
Okay.
And Trist he's a little more well-versed in magic, obviously. Well, Rogar, you see, anything that is known can be tracked. Especially if they have intimate knowledge of it. Not just an object, but a person. They could simply spy on you if they feel like it. With the proper spellcraft, many forms of divination are possible.
Can I be privy to this conversation?
I mean, June, as someone who used to have a spell particularly to prevent divination, yes, Zune is paranoid.
I do have this.
You still have it?
Yeah, I still have non-detection. I'd be like, what are you trying to hide from, Rogar?
I worry that the Cult of Elysia. Are you aware of the order?
I don't think I am.
No, Zune would be way in the dark on this.
You're part of a cult?
No. One of the former party members, a shaman named Zaltkar, was a part of this group. They seem to be tasked with collecting magical items and securing secrets that might cause damage to the world itself. Apparently, they do not work for the dynasty, work with the dynasty, and have some sort of arrangement with their chief. So
He's
she
so open
gave
about
me
the secret cult.
Oh yeah, well, we're I mean, it's not a secret for Rogar necessarily.
I know.
It's just yeah.
They would be considered, like, to the general populace of the dynasty, they would be considered like the boogeyman. It would be like
KGB
somebody
sort of thing.
Yeah, you better be careful what you do, or the cult, the cult of Elysia might come for you. Because Elysia is a known deity. She has a holiday, lots of things like that, but she's not a very nice one. It's more of a deity that they have a day for out of fear. Than more so like worship.
Yeah.
You remember the tunnels outside of college?
I've tried to forget, but I've seen worse things since. So yes, I do recall.
You remember I believe it was a young woman who set off a device that exploded these.
Mm-hmm.
The one with the freaky face.
The entire tunnel system erupted in flames. That is the cult of Elysia. Apparently, they have access to vast amounts of magical power.
Well, that is
so
terrifying.
Exactly. Hopefully, they will use some of that terrifying power against Zinmouth. I do not know if they will.
Okay, I'm gonna regularly and discreetly start slapping him and his little whatever he wants me to
non-detection.
slap it with. Yeah, non-detection.
Non-detection. It only lasts for 8 hours.
8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless you're going to be burning spell slots here.
I mean, for a month though, if we're not doing anything, if we're just chilling, we're about to leave. We won't be doing that.
Rogar wouldn't be too concerned about if she was looking at him. His only concern would be. Well, Rogar wouldn't know that. Rogar wouldn't know that. So Rogar wouldn't have a concern.
I will say, Rogar, and the previous conversations you've had with Lady Anna, she has told you that you shouldn't talk to other members of the cult in particular, and you have her confidence. Yeah,
Rogar is only communicating with her. He doesn't. He doesn't assume that the other cult members are his allies. Yes. He only will talk to Lady Anna because Zaltkar felt that she was to be trusted. So that's the only reason he is engaging with her.
Out of character, would we know the name Zaltkar, considering the heinous things he did before he disappeared?
Well,
that'd just be like oh my god.
No, people didn't realize what happened.
Whoa! We will not tolerate this Zaltkar erasure.
He was never. Now, no one ever actually saw what happened.
And remember that the entity had access to disguise self at will, so no one ever saw that it was Zaltkar.
Oh my.
That's true.
Okay.
So anyway, Zaltkar himself, though, was not necessarily dispossessed of the idea of being possessed. He was attempting to communicate with the fiend, but someone didn't think that was a good idea.
Wonder why.
Anyway.
I wonder why. But Rogar would have, at least around campfires or whenever we were resting, would have told the crew about his the party, about his past party members. So he would have mentioned Dayu at some point.
Zaltkar, past.
The noble Tuk.
This is your scary stories around the campfire. Here's everyone I've ever been in a party
dead
with.
People that have.
They're all
this
dead.
Is how he died. This is how he died. He will mention Breverac. Breverac
still
lived. He'll mention Ernest Atlas Ebbing.
Oh God, Ernest Atlas Ebbing.
The cleric.
Yep.
Those two lived, but he's not sure where they are. So, but yeah, he'll talk about his past. Rogar doesn't keep very many secrets. You know, he's an open book for the most part.
Well, with that, we're going to skip over Moog because he's going last today. Velree, would you like to finish out what you've got to do?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So I still have tough on here that I know I've failed at least a couple times, and I have twice on here, so I guess I just failed twice is what I have.
Give me a Constitution check, please. Yeah, it's the DC is 15.
Constitution check.
Yep, same as Rogar's. Oh, it's short. Do you want to use your inspiration for the night to try again?
So I have now failed 3 times.
Yes. Now it caps out. It stops at 15, no matter what. You're gonna have to beat 15.
You know what? I am going to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
$16. That's it. You got it.
I got it. That's all I had to do.
That's it. You had to beat a 15. So Velree, much like Moog did on the out at sea, Velree, I don't know if you like stand there and get people to beat on you or something. It's kind of like, and people like break sticks on you or some shit. I don't know. Velree's toughened up her body somehow.
Right. I parkoured so hard.
Parkoured so hard that her skin has become more leathery. But still, alabaster and beautiful though. So, yeah. All right. What about your story-related endeavor? What would you like to do?
I am going to, when we were sailing on the way, we passed by Port Dorona. Yeah, thought about my Helene and Celine and Zine.
Your former handmaids?
Yeah. I do miss them. I'm curious how they're doing.
Okay.
So is there I don't know, some way I can get word back just to check in on them and see?
There are multiple ways.
Okay.
One would be similar to what Zune's doing. You could write letters. That's up to you. Or you could talk to Tristan Varel, who can just send magic messages across space-time to individuals at this point.
Now, was he had just joined the party when we left Port Dorona, or was he part of the? Did he? I'm trying to think if they knew who he was. He
joined right at the end. Now,
that's what I was thinking.
While he does not know your handmaids, he does in fact know the bartender that you guys left them with, and he could relay messages to him.
Okay. Well, yeah, let's try that. That'd be fun.
Okay. In that case, let me pull.
Is that going to make him use the magic spot?
It's not for the session, but in the past at some point.
Okay.
Let me pull this up. All right. Roll for this real fast. Okay. All right. We are looking at... Where are you? Boom. Okay. Din, the bartender of the Crooked Plank, informs Trist, that first off, he's happy to hear from him. But also, he asks specifically about Rogar. And then, of course, Lady Velree, he refers to her as, and informs Trist that him and Zyme are engaged to be married.
Oh my god. Was it consensual?
Apparently it was. Says it was, it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to happen. So they really came together during the attack. And he will inform you that all of your handmaids are currently okay. They're all living at the Crooked Plank. He has done some repairs and made a more appropriate room for the rest of everyone to sleep in. And the attack itself had something to do with the fishing district that has been completely cordoned off from the rest of the city, with the priests and Templars of the Temple of Akres barricading the district off from the rest of the city. Nobody is sure what's going on inside, at least the laymen are not. But Din, being a very a guy that knows things about things, he knows that something happened with Clan Nightblossom. Through the grapevine, he's found out that everything went real quiet, and he's had word that the it's not just like some kind of plague like they've been telling everyone. There apparently is some kind of outbreak of undead within the city.
Yeah. Still active?
He said, yes, been months, and he said they send parties in every once in a while. Sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't. That entire part of the city has been cordoned off. They've lost a lot of people, and it looks like the White Shrouds have their hands full, as well as the Temple of Akres there.
Oh boy. But like they feel safe to still be.
They're safe as they can be within Port Dorona.
Do they want to stay in Port Dorona? That's what I want to know.
Well, Din's business is there, and
Right.
he's born and raised there. He's lived there his whole life. He used to sail with the dynasty, maybe do a little bit of pirating at some point, but he feels confident that he can protect them.
Well, now Tristan has to. This isn't like an open communication.
No, he's having to relay this to you. Yeah.
But Tristan has to like initiate it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when's the wedding?
There isn't a date yet, he says. I'm very particular. Says it wants to be a beautiful day.
That sounds right. Okay, well, that's good to know. I'm gonna check in again and like.
Okay. Do you want to leave like a way of communicating with them?
Well, I was trying to think, how would they, if we're always on the run, like how would we be able to communicate?
Like, do you want to have Trist communicate every so often with Din?
Yeah.
Okay. We can just say that kind of happens every once in a while then. All right. Is that going to be it, Velree? You good?
I will ask them one more thing. Ask them if they've heard any word of my ex, or if they know anything going on there.
You're informed through, and this is through Din, so you are informed that the lady's betrothed has not been seen or heard of, as far as they know. Okay. Well then, let's move on to the man of the hour, Moog, the Hitman Broadjaw. I believe, Moog, you had at one of your endeavors you completed, and the other one was to see the weapon master, and he isn't just a weapon master, my friend.
Right. So I recovered some sanity. Was my
you did
endeavor.
recover your sanity, which you needed to do very badly.
Yeah.
He is known as Bowmaster Gil Shadow Ripper.
Bringing in the remains of Zidrin's
Yes, you did.
crossbow along with mine.
But he is known as the Bowmaster, which is essentially a weaponsmith. that has worked with Clan Broadjaw for as long as the clan has existed, as long as they've ruled Brunwood. There's always been a bowmaster. And he is the only one that you've known. He's an older bugbear. He is the current weapons master.
The power master and the bowflex.
He's responsible for the maintenance and innovation of the clan's cherished weapons. He is, for the most part, considered a traditionalist, and most of his innovations are not with the actual devices themselves, but more so with the ammunition. But you will find out while you're here that he has an apprentice, and his apprentice has taken up an interest in black powder, and so that is becoming kind of a thing that's starting to get integrated into Clan Broadjaw. As much as they want to stick to their traditions, at least the higher-ups, the warlord knows that they're going to need to do something to stay just a step ahead of what's happening with Clan White Shroud. So they are beginning to utilize black powder. It's not like their main shtick yet, but it might be someday.
Oh, so I can show him boomstick then.
You could.
Yeah, my boomstick. Yeah.
What are you going to do?
That's what I named it, boomstick. Do what?
So what exactly are we going for here? Are you looking for something for your crossbow? Are you looking for something else?
Well, those two things in particular. I do want to take him the remains of Citron's bow,
which you did.
Probably crafted
we're going to have a whole thing about that.
I gotcha. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then I would like to show him the gun that I came along with, and then I don't know if there's some kind of refinement we can make to the crossbow itself, or if there's anything, maybe get it a magical property or something along the way. I don't know.
You wish.
I'm just throwing ideas at you. This is your game, pal. I'm just spitballing here.
So
with my 10-foot spitballs.
First off, Moog, you look like a walking barnacle still.
You want to spend some time here at home, maybe thinking.
I know you want to. You want to try to think about that. But when you show up, people are shocked at your appearance.
Well, I'm sure they are.
Yeah, they are. A lot of people are like taken aback by what has happened to you. The bowmaster is not pleased with your current predicament. He is very, very not pleased. So unpleased that he is begrudgingly going to do you a slight service. So you're gonna have to pick, Moog. Are you trying to do something crossbow related, or are you trying to do something with the rifle?
That's a good question. The something that I would like to do with the rifle would be allow it to enable the part of crossbow expert that ignores the reloading action, of course. And I could take more than one shot with my rifle per round. That'd be cool. But maybe he could develop a magazine for it or something like that.
Okay. All right. So that's what we're going with. Why don't you give me a persuasion check, Moog?
Oh, sure. Yeah, persuasion. You got it.
I know you're really good at it. Let's see how you do, Moog. It's a 7, Moog. It's a 7. Moog, you're like, look at this thing that I got.
I smell like fish.
The bowmaster, he's older. He's kind of like hunched over. He's been here forever. He's been here since your grandfather took power, and this newfangled contraptions. Get this shit out of my face. He just kind of throws it to the side, kind of clatters onto the ground. You're like, oh.
God dang.
His assistant, his young Padawan, goes by the name of Croc, comes up. Well, don't mind him, Master Moog. He's getting more, I don't know. I don't think he's sleeping well or something. Who knows what's going on with him, but I could take a look at it. see what I can do.
Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty good, man. Tell me, what do you think?
Yeah. I've gotten real good with these kinds of things. They've been coming in from Port Torona, but the master doesn't approve. So just give me some time. And
no worries. I got my trusty crossbow until for whatever.
So it takes a little bit of time. It's going to take a couple weeks, but you're going to get secretly called back, and he presents you with a modification to the black powder rifle that you have. And the modification it's simple. Simple enough that that's all he can get out of it. He makes like a very simple like rotating barrel that he puts into it, and he instructs you. He goes, okay, so this is how so what you do here is you take these papers, and he shows you like a little strange looking paper material. You preload the shots, and he's essentially teaching you how to make a preloaded musket shot. He says, and you put these in here. Now, if it gets wet, it's ruined, but it should be able to cycle. You still have to light it for it to go off, but after it shoots, it should cycle with this mechanism. And he kind of points out some like gears and a couple other additions that he's made.
Oh, very cool.
It can make 4 shots currently without reloading.
Very cool. That's very cool. That gives me action surge and everything.
Yeah. Now it will take a full action to reload, but not only will it take an action to reload, you will also have to make a sleight of hand check to fully reload it. Just so you know. If you're in combat. If you're out of combat, you can just reload the damn thing. But mid combat, if you want to try to like quickly reload it, you're gonna have to make a sleight of hand check.
I love it.
All right. What about your story element, Mo? Because we got a bunch of shit here. There's a bunch of shit here. Are we going with the return of the crossbow? Is that kind of what we're doing?
Yeah. Let's return the crossbow.
So we're just going to get right into this. This is going to be kind of like a flashback scenario. This is the first day you guys arrived in Brunwood, and the rest of you see like it's not necessarily a sprawling metropolis, but it's also not a little tiny village either, like Conwich. It borders the Shrieking Forest. There is a profitable resource and wood. The original township was built on a lumber camp. We kind of went over this before. The dock is mostly full of barges that float between Port Torona. Some of them do go to Rorkham, but for the most part, they go to Port Torona. It's difficult to get all the way up to Velree, mostly due to the waterfall that is at the top. So actually taking the boat all the way up there would be almost impossible without some kind of magic or something, which they don't have. So mostly that's the only places that they end up going. However, while it is more of a simple life here than many other places in the dynasty, it's not a place where people go hungry. It's not like a desperate village where people are like in famine and dying. There's plenty of food. That doesn't appear to be the problem. However, upkeep is not as studious as it is in some of the other larger cities. You can see there's a bit of neglect, specifically with the castle. Some of the beams are starting to like age, and they're not quite painted the right color anymore. The sun's bleached them. There's vines growing across several of the rooftops, things of that sort. Just signs of a lack of maintenance, almost as if they don't have the manpower to upkeep their town anymore than like they used to. And that will go into some stuff that Moog, if Moog wants to talk about, might come up, or might just come up in the game, period. You would know that there is, of course, the massive blue blossom tree that sits out in the castle courtyard towards the top, and it is, it's about like a 60-70 foot like fortification castle that goes up, and there's a large tree that you guys can see towers out of the top of it, and which is where the Blue Blossom Festival kind of like ends right there at the tree normally. It is not bloomed yet. However, today is the day coming up when we start the game will be the first day of the Blue Blossom Festival. Regardless, though, first day here, you guys show up on the haggard, half-destroyed ship that is going to be needing repair. The first person that you guys meet is, in fact, a member of Clan Broadjaw, the current warlord's brother, Bunk Broadjaw. Moog would let you know that he's very well liked. He's a little bit thinner, older bugbear. And how much do you want to talk about your family, Moog?
Oh, I don't know much what's gone on since I left. You know, I've been out in the world for a while.
I mean, but you can describe what you knew at least before. So, do you discuss these things with your party, or do we just?
Oh yeah, no, I'm proud of Broadjaw. You know,
okay.
So I don't know any reason not to be.
So Moog, you would kind of give him a heads up, that though he's an older guy, he likes his gambling, he likes his drinking with his men. He has been known to forget to deposit the docking fee into the castle coffers from time to time, but he takes his protection of his clan seriously when he's sober. His office, that is the first place that you guys kind of stop, is cramped, and it is full of empty bottles and like crunched up peanuts on the floor, and like he has parties in here occasionally. There's also an assortment of smaller warehouses nearby on the docks where some goods are kept, but there are in fact large stacks of heavy timber, which appears to be the main trading resource out of Brunwood here. There's just kind of, some of them are covered, some of them aren't. Pretty much anybody besides Moog is not going to be able to distinguish the different types of wood that's being trafficked here. It's not like a natural log. It's like it's already been kind of taken care of and ready to go. But it is a booming, bustling industry, essentially because Moog would know that Brunwood and Castle Broadjaw is responsible for pretty much the main source of lumber within the dynasty. There's not many other large enough to supply a steady amount of wood like they've been able to do for centuries. So there is that. But yeah, the first guy you run into is Bunk Broadjaw. Hey, Moog.
Oh, hey, Bunk, how's it going, man?
Man, if I had too many, something not right with your face there, boy.
Oh, there's a lot not right, friend. Let me tell you, there's a whole lot not right out there in that world.
Yeah, you got some friends there, I see.
Thinking a few things that aren't right. Yeah, I got some friends with me.
Friend, I'm Bunk. I'm the dock master. You call me Bunk.
Introductions around, of course.
Yes, of course. Oh, look, who's this fine specimen? Looks at Velree, kind of. Well, if you need, what are you gonna say, Velree?
Oh, I was just, her typical response, just to kind of like stare at them, like, oh god.
Well, if you ever need a guide around town, no Moog's not available, I'd be happy to do it. Be happy to do so. I'm having a party here later if you guys want to stop by. I mean, he's like an old man, like an old man.
The most excitement he's had in who knows how long.
Yeah, you hear one of the dock hands kind of walking by, kind of snickers as he passes, like keeps walking. Well, this here boat yours, Mo?
Well, it's what got us here into port. We're going to help our friend get it refit and ready to roll out back into the sea. We don't intend to keep a boat ourselves, as it were.
Well, I see. And he kind of looks up. The boat is mine, sir. It's Marbles kind of standing at the top. Marble's the name, and not pirating's the game. Yes, I see. Well, if Moog vouches for you, you guys can stay. There's a couple places in town if you guys want to get bed down for the night. I would highly recommend the Wraith and Ronin. Great tavern. Run by one of your friends recently, Moog.
Who's that?
Hatton Greywood. And you would know she was a younger, she's a little bit younger than you, female bugbear. Moog, the Greywood name spikes in interest because there was a certain lady that you might have had a crush on, one might say. Not Hatton, it was her older sister, who went by the name Tyr Greywood. And when you had left previously, Hatton and Tyr were living in the tavern, but their parents were running it. And there is, of course, the which you do know about him already. Their older brother, it goes by the name of Dren Greywood, and he is actually the captain of the Warlord's personal guard. If you have questions about names, you can ask. No problem. I've got a family tree here, guys.
Got it all worked out.
You're on mute, Dan.
Tell me about the previous crush, that young lady.
Oh, lady,
still working at the place.
Tyr? Or do you ask that to?
I'm asking that
uncle?
to you.
Oh,
No,
to
I'm
me?
asking you as a player.
Well, you know that she did work there. You haven't been there to.
I just kind of shyly asked then. So, Tyr still there?
I do an insight check.
Go ahead, make an insight check. You're going to need to actually for this because your uncle. Let's see.
13.
13. Your uncle kind of looks at you for a moment, and then he, let's just say a lot of things have changed, Mo. It's better if you just find out for yourself.
Oh, all right then. Well, I know that's a really good place for we can definitely shore up there. It's a good place for us to.
Well, no, not you, of course, Mo. I'm talking about
not me.
Them damn fish people up there. The captain and his crew, they're sleeping in a damn inn, not you. We got a room for you, boy.
Stay in the castle. We got a castle.
Now, I don't know about all your friends. Now, I mean, that one, I'd be more than welcome to share my hut with that one, if you know what I mean, Mo.
Dude gets a lot of
flash my
attention.
fangs out.
Oh wait, no, we're talking about.
I mean, can you? He's attempting to whisper. It's not very good though. They're both like, you gotta, and you guys are all noticing now that there are a large amount of bugbears walking around. So much so that as you guys are kind of looking at some of the buildings,
bugbears than the average, place you've been.
You look at some of the buildings. The buildings look slightly larger than like most other places you've been. Zune, you feel like a small person here. Moog, like most doorway, you would know Moog. Most doorways are somewhere around 10 feet tall or so. Comfortable
Rogar's
for all these.
it.
Yeah, Rogar's going to be feeling great too. Comfortable for all large individuals to just comfortably walk in and out of. Do things.
Rogar
like
finally
that.
knows what it's like to watch by as he walks through a doorway.
Yeah, there's some, but mostly bugbears kind of walking around here, and you guys will all notice that they're, at least here on the docks, they seem to be a little rowdy. It's a little bit of rowdy deckhands happening here, but yeah. So Moog, with that knowledge bestowed upon you, are you trying to head to the tavern, or are you trying to head to the castle to present your findings?
Let's take care of the sad news first. Let's go to the castle.
You want
Get
the
that
castle?
out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You walk down the main stretch of Brunwood. You do pass by several shops on the way there. Kind of get the kind of like warehouse district that you're in gives way to a more commercial kind of area. And then there is like a bit of a town square. And in the center of the town square, there is a collection of blue blossom trees, nowhere near as big as the large one in the castle itself. But in this, you do see several shops that stand out. First off, there are like small, little like, what do you call those? Like little pop-up like stands that are all over, people selling food and just knickknacks and things like that. But the actual shops that you see the Wraith and Ronin Tavern. The sign depicts a samurai's helm with black smoke and like an ethereal crown, and black smoke kind of coming out of its eyes. It appears to be 3 stories tall, and it's more tall than it is wide, which is going to be a theme with a lot of the buildings here. They build up more than out. You would also see a sign for the bolt thrower, which is actually closer to the docks than the rest of this. The sign is a ballista, and Moog, you would know that this is more of a seedier bar. It's about 2 stories tall, and if you were to walk inside, you'd find a lot of drunken revelry, gambling wenches, and a large amount of mercenaries, thugs, and killers for hire. Because while this is not and you do see there are like Clan Broadjaw guards kind of walking around doing basic patrols, but for the most part, you don't see there's not like a ridiculous amount of guards walking around, if that makes sense. You do see some, but it's not heavily patrolled. It's kind of you can tell in some areas of town, it's probably every man for himself. What you can do is what you can do. So yeah, bit of a rougher area that you guys are in if you go towards that. You would also see a newer sign that wasn't there previously, Moog, when you left, called the Pointy End. And the sign depicts a quiver of bolts and a crossed sword. This is a small weapons and armor shop with a collection of basic gear for sale, as well as possibly some more less mundane items, maybe. But if you ask around, you'd mostly find out that they sell mostly like traps and bolts for the local hunters. And then there is the old reliable Rodfathers. The Rodfathers, run by a goblin named Beevil. And it is a general store and pawn shop. Similar with some of the other shops that you've come across.
Sounds an awful lot like the Codfathers, though.
Or there's a few different ones out there. You know, who knows what's going on. But the Rodfather, run by Beevil here. You would know, Moog, that while Beevil is the owner, he's very kind of like manic. He's always like running around doing stuff. And the guy who actually runs the shop is actually a furbolg, which is unusual, to say the least. But a large kind of furbolg that goes by the name of Advular Ravendew. But those are the shops you guys passed by. But as you... Yes?
While we're on our way, did my insight check give me any indication that Moog might have some sort of pining for who he was asking about?
Oh, I thought you were insight checking his uncle. I did not realize you were insight checking Moog.
I was just curious. I don't know if he was trying to be sneaky or not.
I don't know, Moog. Were you trying to be sneaky?
I was definitely,
being subtle,
unaware of my, listlessness towards that young woman's affection in the moment.
It's Tyr, right?
Yeah, Lady
Tyr.
Yeah,
Tyr. I was reminiscing pretty hard.
So you at least thought about her in the moment for a moment.
Yeah, a lot.
Like, so Lady Tyr.
It was
she
the summer of
sounds
'69,
nice.
man.
She sounds really nice. Are you gonna go say hi to her?
Oh, if she'll say hello back, yeah, sure. You know, I'd like to go visit. If there's
So
time.
those photos you have of Grimriel, do you want me to hold on to those while you go visit your friend?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry. The pieces of paper I hallucinated being on the ground on the ship. Do you want me to hold those hallucinations while you go talk to your friend?
Yeah, you could hold on to those.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that.
Moog has regrets when he was somewhat less sane.
That's fair. That's fair.
I got your back.
People do things when they're not.
Zoon's being a good wingman right now, okay?
When you have a negative 4 for your sanity check.
He's helping you out.
I'm trying.
It's my wing person. Very good.
Yeah.
So, all right. Are we moving on towards the castle at this point?
Are we gonna be able to shop later?
Sure. This is all leading up to Moog's turning in his crossbow.
I know. Listen, Velree needs to go shopping.
Oh my god.
She's basically wearing a tarp.
Of course. I know.
She's wearing a tarp. Yeah. Okay.
I need to.
All right. Well, we'll say you're heading to the actual castle at this point. It is large, very large castle. It takes you 10, 20 minutes, well, probably longer than that, probably closer to like 30 or 40 minutes to make your way all the way from the dock. You kind of have to zigzag through a couple streets, a few open areas, and then you end up at a large, it's not a staircase, it's more like, well, I mean, it's a staircase, but there's no like railing on the side, and they're massive, like a thoroughfare of stairs that goes up to the castle gate. What you would notice as you get closer is that first off, not immediately next to the castle, but I don't know, probably like 300-400 yards from the castle, there's a large fence. It's a wall. It's a wall made out of like heavy. What are those walls called? They're called palisade walls. Just the heavy oak kind of beams. Yeah, palisade walls. There's a massive wall that breaches a gap where the castle is kind of built up on this incline hill that moves up towards the plateau, and it appears that this hill kind of slowly curves up to where this would be the only entrance that is known of in the dynasty to get you into the Shrieking Forest easily without having to scale the sides of the kind of like cliff-like plateau that it raises up on, hundreds and hundreds of feet in the air. But there is a massive palisade wall and a gate that separates the forest from where you guys from the rest of the more normal-looking forest that you guys are in, because the forest beyond is thick with a mist that like shrouds the trees. Some of the trees that you do see are black and look somewhat dead despite their massive size. These are, I mean, we're talking like redwood forest, huge like trees and shit back there. But it looks eerie and foreboding as you're making your way up towards the castle. The castle itself does appear to be in disrepair. The gate, like the main gate, it's made out of iron and it's rusted in a fair number of places. And you notice that there's only 2 guards kind of standing outside. The gate is open, but you don't see a lot of soldiers walking around. You don't see a lot of people moving about. Moog, give me a history check. I want to see how much you know. A natural 20.
That worked out well.
Damn, Moog.
That was pretty perfect, actually.
Okay, natural 20, Moog. So, all right. In that case, Moog, you would know, being from the castle, of course, you're a little more privileged. than the rest. And you would know that though it happened when you were a child, you would know that your grandfather, who was the current warlord, was not the warlord when you were a kid. There was a different guy in charge, his older brother, who went by the name of Warlord Kubak. And Kubak took a large amount of the Braja samurai in an effort to stem the source of a contagion that has been known to seep out of the woods occasionally, that has been named the Red Death. And we can get into that later. You know, well, I'm not sure how much you know about that, but you at least know that Kubak, back in his day, took a large contingent of the Braja samurai, a significant amount, to stem the tide. And to do so, he went into the Shrieking Forest. He did so against many of the clan's wishes, at the convincing, with a natural 20, at the convincing of what would be the word? An advisor from the dynasty, of all places, somebody not normally trusted. And this, not only was this an outsider, but it was also a green dragonborn that went by the name of Sensu. Advised him that the only way to stem the tide would be to enter the forest. And so he took all of his men that he could gather, went into the forest, and nobody had seen them since. They disappeared off the face of the earth, leaving Clan Broadjaw in a very vulnerable state, lacking manpower, a warlord, and many other direction, with your grandfather eventually, after months, taking the reins as warlord, not by right, but just by being there. He did not earn his place, and that has been a mote of contention within the clan for a long time. There's going to be a lot of political things that are kind of tied into this, but you would know that's one of the main reasons to this day that you guys are lacking in manpower and your coffers, because the people that were here were instantly gone in no time. Do you have any questions, Dan?
No.
Okay.
So my grandfather, for the past how many years now?
Shit. How old is Mo? I gotta ask.
He'd be about my age, late 40s.
In his late 40s. So it's been when you were like a baby. So he's been the warlord for like 40 years. And he was already older to begin with. He's like advanced in age. He's like
pretty old for a bugbear.
He's approaching that 100. He's approaching that centennial mark, and that's not where a normal bugbear lasts that long. It's just because he's so well taken care of as the warlord that he's able to last as long as he has. But everyone knows he could go at any time, and who knows where the rains will fall.
Grandpa Gilbert Grape.
So yes, we can get into more stuff with that if you have any other questions. But for now, that's what you kind of gleam of the current state of Clan Broadjaw.
Cool.
But as you were let into the gate easily, Moog, you're getting a lot of eyes on you, not just because you're Moog Broadjaw, but because you're in the company of a white dragonborn. 2 elves, one of them a drow.
Yeah.
And a small, somewhat petite, elf-like woman that looks corpse-like a little bit.
As you do.
And
it's
Moog,
fine.
You would know, Moog, that the undead have often been a problem in the forest, and people might be side-eyeing Velree for good reason.
That's fair. I mean, it's unfair to her, but understandable. So.
And
but as long
as Moog looks like a fucking sea creature now.
None of us look like we should be here at all.
None
of us look like we should be here at all. No. I don't understand how we haven't been accosted by the gates yet.
As you enter in, and that's been a thing. There's not been a lot of people questioning what's going on. People do recognize you. You still look like yourself, just a lot different.
Crustier
For sure.
Yeah.
But as you enter into the main courtyard, you witness a few women, kind of like, what would they be called? Like maids, kind of, coming out of a room. And as they come out of the room, the doors open and a slender, for a bugbear woman steps out. And for a moment, you're kind of speechless as you see Tyr. She's wearing a blue dress with like a corset underneath it, laced up very tightly. She looks. She's got like some kind of like makeup on. Well groomed, and she spots you. Oh, you're back.
Hello, Tyr. How are you?
They said you wouldn't come back.
Well, plenty of things tried to keep me from coming back. As you can see, I've had some. I've come across some hurdles.
She comes walking up to you, Moog. She's tall, by the way. The rest of you. She's as tall as Moog. She's about 8 feet tall. Though slender. She walks up and, what's happened to you? What have you done to yourself?
I died in the water. And after you die in the water, the dredger comes and takes a toll. One too many times. Too many times. I'm cursed with this crust. I was also a little crazy until just recently. Well, a little crazier.
Well, you've always been a little off,
crazy.
Moog, but that's what I love about you.
I was way off.
But perhaps we can talk about this. Is there a way to free yourself of this affliction? Have you seen the priestesses?
That's one of the things I hope to accomplish while I'm home. I have unfortunate news for Lord Broadraw regarding Zidron. Unfortunately.
I'm sorry. I can't stay. I'll see you in a moment. And then
Sure.
she hurries with the handmaids through kind of a side door.
Yeah.
So Moog, she lives in your castle with you?
This is a new development.
It's tea.
Yeah, I see where that chat's going. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So. All right. So she had to away.
You're walking up a couple sets of stairs at this point. A few Broadjaw guards kind of come down and begin to escort you towards the main like kind of like throne room of the clan. And on your way there, you would see a yeah. No, you wouldn't see them yet. Nope. You wouldn't see any of them yet. All right. So you enter into the main throne room. Very large open space. Takes everyone a little while to get there. The room is held open by two large, heavily armored bugbears with massive crossbows slung across their shoulders, even bigger than Moog's. Yeah, I know, exactly. And kind of like smaller kind of hammers dangling at their hips. The armor appears to be more incorporating like heavy wood than it is like metal or hide or anything like that. And has interesting designs to it that are reminiscent of like trees, kind of like tree roots and designs and things kind of into it. But the doors, the large doors are kind of opened, and a small goblin kind of walks out to the side. Lord Moog Broadjaw and his band of thieves, as he kind of looks at all of you, to beseech the honorable Warlord Balder. He kind of drops his head down and then moves out to the side. Up on a large, almost like throne, made out of twisting, intricate wood and vines, sits your grandfather, Warlord Balder, in all of his like ceremonial armor that he's worn. There is a rather significantly large crossbow as well, sitting near his throne. You do as well see the captain of the guard. You do see Dren Greywood, the older brother of Tyr, standing next to him, bigger than you, Moog. He stands about 8.5 feet tall, heavily muscled. And he actually has, he has a crossbow. It's on his back and kind of resting in his hands with the head on the ground is a massive great axe that you know that he has been used to execute individuals in the past. And while he does resemble Tyr in some ways, he is obviously a much more grizzled veteran of a man. Next to your grandfather, you see your great aunt, Lady Sanane Broadjaw, sister of Balder, and she is the widow of Warlord Kubak, the warlord that took all of the troops out into nowhere. And she has been acting as an advisor to your grandfather for quite some time. However, she's not sitting next to him like she normally is. Instead, there is an empty seat, a little bit smaller, sitting next to the warlord. And Lady Sasane is, she's obviously she's older than your grandfather. She's ancient as well. Very haggard in appearance, and she is from a line of what you would have been called shamans in the past, Moog. And she has a little bit like of a druidic touch to her kind of garb that she wears. But she's there as well. What do you do, Moog?
So as we walk in, we've been announced by the goblin as thieves.
Well,
does my
Lord Mogan,
my grandfather take notice?
He kind of looks down, crunches his eyes. Moog, you've returned. Let it take you longer. Report.
Well, I don't believe Zidrin fared well, my lord.
Mm-hmm.
Found the remains of his crossbow mangled and twisted.
That's unfortunate.
If that were the remains of his crossbow, the remains of his body were at least as bad.
So you found no body?
Found no body.
And yet you returned.
This was all we could have. All of the reports were that the ship was lost, Lord.
What ship?
The Twilight's Horizon.
Hmm. He kind of looks over, and you see kind of a younger...
I have the book, right? I give him the book.
Which book?
I don't have like the ship's log or something.
That has been taken from you a long time ago.
Okay.
That was in Zoltkar's possession, Moog. No, you do not have that anymore.
Sure, I do.
No, you do not.
There was the paper from
You have the paper
Marvel
that
found.
did list the Twilight's Horizon, so you do know about it. Are you going to hand him the orders?
That's what I would offer over as
You
exactly.
offer you kind of offer the orders, and a thinner, younger hobgoblin actually kind of bustles down from the side, like a young boy, and kind of walks up and takes it, and then moves around the sides, and then presents the message to your grandfather. I knew there would be something up with that. Goddamn thunder strikes, of course. Well, you've done some good, I guess. Too bad my favorite's grandson didn't make it. Now I'm all I left with you.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah. You're leaking on my floor.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only died a couple of times. It's
Well, as he looks like he's beginning to work himself up into some kind of disgruntled fight that might be dredging up right now.
Yeah.
You watch as everybody in the room stops for a moment and looks over, and out of a side door next to the throne room, a woman appears. And you see the thin blue dress as Tyr walks up and sits in the seat next to your grandfather. Sits down. She looks flustered. She looks down at you, Moog. Well, you've made it just in time, Moog. I've decided to take another wife.
Of course you have. Why wouldn't you?
We have to all roll constitutions to not vomit. Like, what do we? How lovely.
Do you say that, Zune? You say that? How lovely.
Pretty much.
Yes.
I mean, just.
The warlord just kind of stares down at the rest of you from up on his kind of elevated area. Lady Sasane, your great aunt,
the Dowager Queen,
yeah, kind of looks over.
Yeah. Well, all we have left are you. We need someone else to bring across the line.
She talking to me?
She's talking to you, Moog.
Do I have my crossbow with me?
You do, Moog.
That's good to know.
She kind of stares down at you.
Leave us. The sight of you disgusts me. Return to your quarters.
Look at Rogar.
Velree's holding back like a hiss right now.
Yeah,
we're
all.
The king. I look at the grandpa.
Yeah, your grandfather, who's had disdain for you, pretty much your entire life.
And sharpshooter, I'm gonna get ambush, and we're going to murder my grandfather.
You're gonna try to shoot your grandfather.
Yeah, just right
here. This is
After
happening.
All this is happening right now. This is insolence.
Moog is gonna shoot his own grandfather.
I've apparently endured a lifetime of abuse from this man.
Well,
to come home.
Well,
Rogar, what are you doing?
Can Rogar roll an insight check to see if he sees or roll?
I can tell you right now. As soon as Moog looks like he's twitchy, he's starting to twitch a little bit.
Feel fervent movements.
You watch the captain of the guard step forward with his large axe. He brings it up into both of his hands.
Rogar will then he will very loudly say, "Thank you, great chief, for hosting us in this fine castle.
Yes, it's really.
We shall take on."
Thank you.
And Rogar will put his hand on Moog,
clutching at the grip of his crossbow. I'm sure.
Yeah. I am not using good trigger discipline right now.
With
a fully knocked bolt.
We'll start to pull away with Moog and the rest of the party if possible.
Okay.
We will assist you.
Trist is like, well, this has been a great show. I applaud you, sir. I applaud you. Thank you very much. If you need any help with Moog here, feel free to contact me at any point in time.
He's giving dagger eyes and like as she backs away slowly.
Just gonna mouth. Yeah, I love your dress.
Velree feels Moog.
Here.
Velree is ready to slay.
Okay.
Yes.
You guys leave the throne room with that bombshell of information dropped. Outside of the room, Moog, you see that there is a contingent of Broadjaw clansmen that have been summoned. And one of your cousins. This would be Lady Biz Broadjaw. She's one of the twins, Biz and Buzz. And Biz is standing there. She's tall, slender, considered quite beautiful in her own right. However, she's a woman of conviction, and she, as well as her brother, are usually in charge of guarding the wall. It appears that her shift is not up yet. She's standing outside, looking at you, arms crossed, Moog, as you come walking out. Well, why did you have to do that? You couldn't have just brought it to me. You know they hate you.
I was trying to, show something.
Yeah, well, I would have given you a heads up. I'm sorry.
Well, that's fair. I think my uncle tried to say something.
Yes.
Down at the dock.
Our father's not exactly known to be in his right mind, and this is Bunk's children.
That's my first cousin. Yeah.
Yeah. Biz and Buzz. Buzz is not here.
Thankfully I got
Or
thieves
Bunk's grandchildren, excuse me.
with me.
Yes.
Kept me in, somewhat
Where's
control.
Moog's dad?
Moog would have to tell you where his parents are.
Okay.
But Biz kind of looks at you. Some of us are happy to see you, Moog. I'm glad you're back. She kind of puts her hand on your shoulder. We have your room. I don't know about your friends. Do I need to prepare another? I could have one of them.
Yeah, they need a place to stay too. All of them. They need all four. Need a place
Individual
to stay.
rooms?
Of course. Yeah. Treat them proper while we're here. This is my house.
Sure.
It's the Broadjaw built.
We have plenty of space. That is
Of
not
course
the
we do.
issue.
Yeah.
And Biz will kind of walk you guys to a collection of rooms in the castle. You kind of almost have your own wing to yourselves.
Is there any, the farm animals who may be ready for, slaughter? My friend Velree here could have one to herself.
She likes to help with the slaughter.
She can pretty much take care of the whole thing for you.
Do you cook?
No, it
lady?
doesn't need to be cooked.
No, she can cook.
I just kind of nod, slowly,
Well,
Butcher's daughter.
She takes a moment, looks you up and down, Velree. Well, if you'd like to make a meal, I'd be more than happy to help at some point.
It's more of a private thing that I like to do.
Religious.
I appreciate your offer.
I see. Well, perhaps you'll let me see this private meal at some point.
Rogar says, "You must never watch her."
Wait,
Very
I'll
sacred.
ask this question again.
The friends are quite mysterious, Moog. I like them.
Yeah, they're pretty cool people.
We need
The
to
short
talk
one over here is
about,
pretty funny.
Moog has bad taste.
We do. We very much need to talk about your current state, my cousin.
Yeah, that's another thing that's been kind of bothering me.
Have you been to the priestesses yet?
Not yet. Everyone keeps asking.
Oh.
Figure out how to go.
You should definitely go at some point. You look
We
horrible.
should make that maybe the priority.
I would think so. It is quite unnerving to look at you. In fact,
Where are we
still
at
quite
in the daytime?
You look
he's still
like
quite insane at this point, right?
he is a little bit. Yeah, you look
Because he
like
hasn't gone. Yeah.
like an avocado had sex with an angrier, older-looking avocado, and that is what you look like now.
That
Well, you
is
can say
what
that
he
'cause
looks
we're-
like.
You can say that because we're cousins.
I will.
Yes. That's fair.
Oh, your
The leaky
cousins are all
avocado.
It's
right.
good to see you, Moog. It's good to see you.
No, you too.
I'll let you guys. I'm sure you've had a long journey. If you'd like that meal, I'm just around. She gives you directions to her personal quarters, Velree. I'm just right there. If you need me, I take watches at night, so I'm mostly up all night at the wall. But
What a coincidence. Velree's a night owl too.
That's sad. That's interesting. There you go. Perhaps I'll show you the wall sometime. You can see the forest. It can be a little scary, but I'll protect you.
See who does the protecting. Also, maybe we go shopping sometime.
Shopping? Oh, not my favorite. But sure, I'll join you for that.
Sounds like a date.
Okay, sounds great. She takes her leave, moves away. With that out of the way, Moog, you guys kind of make your rooms. You guys have free reign for the most part of some of the castle. One thing I will tell you, Moog, before anything else happens.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to find Tyr? Or are you going to just let this simmer, whatever the fuck is happening right now?
I don't think, I feel like there may be something else going on.
Mm-hmm.
That there are forces outside of the perception at the moment that might be at play.
Okay.
And
so we're just going to leave that alone for now?
For now, because I didn't get the impression that Grandpa was in his right mind. There's something going on with the witch grandma.
Witch grandma? And, with witch grandma?
Yeah, with witch grandma. She's obviously evil. And then you know.
Okay.
And then high school girlfriend, we got to figure out how to rescue her.
Okay. So. All right. Well, in that case, that is where we're going to take our first break.